there is a concern to my mind that essentially, what they're doing is creating a condition of more acceptance around the grooming of kids, the sexualization of children,
Yeah,
right? And it's
for
like
sure.
they know that once, and I think that really is the influence is on the kids themselves, on the younger generation. I mean, you're seeing a lot of kids that are basically, Generation Z identifying as LGBTQ, for example. This push towards transgenderism, and it's intentional because they know that if they can get that into the cultural milieu as okay at that age, at a young age, it'll become more acceptable more readily for that whole generation, right? And
And
ultimately,
that's
this
why
is
we
where
need
the
to
break
resist
point
it.
is, right? This is like the break point. Like either how do ultimately do we defeat this what I want to call now is like leftist ideology, leftist progressivism?
Knowledge is power. A minor attracted person is not a map. They shouldn't, and they don't have the same rights. That's child rape. Okay, let's call it what it is. Language matters. How we define language matters. People think, oh, I have a thought and then I convey it, and the language is secondary to what do I want to express. And now, going back to our earlier part of the conversation, what they're learning is sometimes the language actually predates your aha moment and your conveying of that. We need to choose our language intentionally because it creates a reality. And so when you see them redefining the Constitution and calling it a fuddy-duddy thing and normalizing perversion and normalizing, story hour with a drag queen, it ain't normal, folks. Hello. It's not normal to be teaching 5-year-olds in kindergarten how they can masturbate with a cucumber. None of this is normal. Okay, children don't think about sex like that. Go the whole Johnson and Johnson thing, like it just like all of that is just so wrong. And the way you fight it is the way we've always fought it down. Okay, you good people band together and say no more. Okay, 55 angry chanting parents show up at library hour because there's a guy in drag queen regalia trying to read basically porn to 3-year-olds or just conveying porn by how he's dressed, even if he's reading Goodnight Moon. You need to object. Martin Luther King Jr. said, injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. People are like, which battles do you fight? I'm like, all of them. All of them. I fight the mask mandate in the grocery store when I don't have time, on my way home to my Christmas party with 100 guests coming over, as I'm coming to blows with a woman who's trying to kill me because I'm not wearing a mask. And then I fight it down with the cops who show up, and I fight it down with the store manager who's a libtard. I fight it everywhere because every battle, when you are at a precipice like this, matters. You don't not have time to fight this battle. Okay. And when you show up, the recipe is really simple, and I'm going to give it to your fans and your viewers in a nutshell. You find out what the bad plan is. Maybe it's drag queen story hour. Maybe it's masking at your schools this fall. Maybe it's electing a new libtard to your school board so that it's now a majority, communists instead of normal Republicans or whatever. Whatever it is, you find out what the bad plan is. Then that's step one. Find the bad plan. Step two, figure out who is in charge of it. And I don't mean the board of supervisors, all 5 or 6 of them. It's not the whole board. It's 1 or 2 mean girls. This is junior high school reincarnated. Yeah, there's 10 people standing around looking at the mean girls and pretending to be on their side, but there's one leading the whole charge. You want the one leading the charge. Step three. Now that you've got the plan and the person in charge of it, you need to get to know that person better than you know yourself, your spouse, and your child. And I'm not kidding. You call up a retired PI who's on our side, a retired LAPD detective or a Florida detective who's in our movement, and you say, this is your contribution. I don't have money to pay you. You're going to go use your backdoor databases to learn everything there is to know about this person. I'm talking from their middle name to their kids' names to where their spouse works. If they have a bakery, their spouse owns, whatever it is. And when you know everything there is to know about this person, you're looking for anything that is ew. Okay, maybe they did something illegal, cheating on their spouse or taxes, whatever. Maybe they were having sex at the waterfall with 14-year-old boys, like a local elected politician in Kauai when I was there a month ago that had just gotten busted down. You really don't care what it is. Anything that is like a, ugh, okay? And then you make it known. You don't go to the politician and say, I have this dirt on you, and if you don't do what I say, I'm going to release it to the masses, because that's blackmail. It's a federal and state law crime in most jurisdictions, and you will go to jail for a very long time. You cannot blackmail them. What you can do, and what is not blackmail, if you look up the code in your region, is just making it known. That's using your First Amendment right. They have something in their past they're embarrassed about. Maybe they cheated on a college test or cheated on the LSAT to get into law school. You just put that on blast. And you get all of your friends together. You buy out the bullhorn section of Walmart and Target. You go to Kinko's. You pay a few $100s to make a sign like this, or a little one that's $50 that you can hold on a thing with your bullhorn in the other hand. And you don't even need 50 people, 15 angry, chanting people outside their home. They don't care if you go to the board sometimes. Outside their home address, oh, they care. That's public sidewalk. You can be there usually as long as you're not violating the sound ordinance. Or go in front of their business. Maybe their wife owns a bakery. Hey, did you know that her husband voted to put drag queen story hour in the schools this year or whatever to start masking our kids when last year one of the kids who was playing track passed out and her heart nearly stopped and the EMTs had to revive her because she wasn't getting enough oxygen? Because newsflash, masking is actually bad and OSHA actually has that on the first page of their website. You need oxygen to survive. Whatever it is, you just get out there and you be strident and you be loud. And what the studies show is that when 3.5%, not 51%, 3.5% of the population is strident and loud, and they're on the side of God and truth and righteousness, that is your tipping point. That is how we take back America, one fight at a time. And don't ever doubt that you're the heroes you've been waiting for, because you are. You can make a difference. This is the recipe for doing so.